Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, August 30th. Looking at our impact map for today, we've got winds getting gusty across northwest Nevada, also a secondary area of wind up in the central mountains of Idaho. Same story for tomorrow, and these winds, especially the ones off the Sierra front, could actually be quite strong tomorrow. Gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour. We have some large fire activity in Northern California that could find its way into part of the Sierra front. Have to keep an eye on that. The other issue will be monsoonal moisture, which is good news for some of our fire activity in the south, the Oak Grove fire. And this moisture will be pushing northwards across much of the Utah Tuesday and especially Wednesday, covering most of the state except for maybe the far northwest, which stays dry. Western northern areas stay dry. Eastern areas moisten up quite a bit by the middle of the week. Looking at smoke for today, surface smoke on the left, you see multiple points of origin across California and parts of Oregon. That smoke pushes into much of the Great Basin on strong southwest winds. This is tomorrow afternoon, similar story, although you see the smoke thinning out and getting mixed out because there's a cold front and an upper level low pressure area over the northern Rockies and northern Pacific Northwest, which will help thin out some of that smoke in some areas, but push those fires very strongly across California. Similar story with the vertically integrated smoke, which is smoke from the surface on up above 6,000 feet, all averaged together for this afternoon and again tomorrow afternoon on the right. No significant lightning activity except for far southern parts of the Arizona Strip and far southern Nevada, but a lot of that lightning and moisture poised just south of our border and heading northwards over the next couple of days. We'll look at that in a minute. We do have a large fire down in southwest Utah, north of St. George into the higher terrain, the Oak Grove fire, otherwise just a few starts in red, existing fires in the yellow. It has been a very dry week on the left, almost no precipitation across the geographic area except for maybe the Price area in eastern Utah. But otherwise, where you see the dark red, near 0% of normal precipitation. And it's done a number on the fuels. You can see a lot of the fuels in the 90th to even 96th percentile across northwest Nevada, approaching the 90th percentile. You see the red in parts of Idaho, especially the western portion of it. Still moist the farther east you go, but even in southern Utah, there has been a little bit of drying over the past week with that hot, dry weather. We can look at some individual stations. GB34, which is representative of the Dixie National Forest. Yeah, they got soaked quite a bit not too long ago, but you can see their current ERC is in the green, the normal is in the gray, and they've bounced back up to above normal for this time of year. Still not near the 90th percentile, but probably closer to the 80th percentile, and some dry pockets can catch fire, so we did see that. Otherwise, in the southern Sierra front, you can see that those ERCs are near the 97th percentile, just below record levels, and similar story, well, not similar, but up in the Salmon Chalice area, they had gotten moistened up quite a bit, but now they're back up to normal, probably just below the 90th percentile. So we'll be concerned there with some of those winds that we're expecting. Satellite imagery, this is a still shot. Big low pressure area over British Columbia. Strong winds with these tight height lines here in the yellow. And as this low and its associated front drops south, so will those winds. Further down into Arizona, there's that monsoonal moisture, and the clockwise rotation around this high will start pushing some of that moisture northwards. A little disturbance, a little wiggle in the height lines. That's going to be the main impetus that pushes that moisture northwards over the next couple of days. And the remnants of Hurricane Ida, now a tropical storm, but still decent winds, lots of rain pushing through the southeast. So here's for later today. On the left, drier air punching in the tight height lines through here. We should start seeing breezes picking up, and with those critically dry fuels, we have high risk for much of northwestern Nevada. Lines up with the winds expected across northern California. Also a secondary area of high risk across the central mountains of Idaho, where they are drying out. We'll look at those winds in a second. Here they are on the left. You can see those winds here in these orange shades, upper 20s to near 30-mile-an-hour gust. Similar story across western and northwestern Nevada. But you can see the dry humidity, single digits across Nevada, mid-teens across Idaho, upper teens across southern Utah. In terms of precipitation on the left, you can see some pin drops here starting to move into southern Nevada, into the Arizona Strip. Not much further north than that, at least for today, but there will be some lightning. Maybe I have to watch for some new starts with those low humidities. But for tomorrow, that monsoonal moisture pushes significantly north. We're going to see a lot of moistening. You see the green on the right-hand side for a lot of those areas. Good news for the Oak Grove fire. But the other issue, I'll focus here on the right, is high risk again across Northern California and the Sierra Front in Northwest Nevada. And again, parts of the higher terrain of Idaho. It's because of this low and these tight packing of height lines are going to increase the wind gradient across northwestern areas, and there's the winds here. And across the Sierra Front, this is a particularly dangerous situation. These purples are gusts of 40 to 45, maybe even close to 50 miles per hour, and that's in the vicinity of the Calder Fire, which is starting to already threaten the Tahoe Basin and could push into the southern Sierra Front. Also, winds a little stronger up in the Salmon Chalice area into eastern Idaho in the 30 to 35 mile an hour range with those low humidities on the right-hand side. We do see on the left here more precipitation from that monsoonal moisture starting to push through into the Arizona Strip, into much of southern and central Utah, into the higher terrain, and bleeding a little bit into far eastern Nevada. Now for Wednesday, lots of deep moisture across Utah, lots of rain, and pushing into Wyoming as well. You can see how much is greened out here on our 7-day. Still staying dry further west, but the wind threat starting to diminish. Some gusty winds down south. That's with higher humidity. Otherwise, we don't see any. Still remain breezy across the Sierra Front. I have to watch that, but wind's not as strong. But still, on the right-hand side, those bone-dry humidities across western and northern areas will continue. Much higher humidity further east. Precipitation on Wednesday, you can see a ton of it here, and some of these purple shades are a half inch to an inch of rain. Otherwise, these green areas, lots of quarter to half inch rain amounts. So this is definitely good news for our southern and eastern areas. 3-day precipitation totals reflect the total precipitation. Some of these light blues are an inch to an inch and a half. So really good news for southern and eastern Utah and parts of southern and eastern Nevada. Real quick look, Thursday, dry air, seasonable, not under high or low pressure. But as we go further down the road into Friday, drier air works in, seasonable temperatures, we start drying things out. High pressure builds in, a little bit of residual monsoonal moisture starting to creep northwards, and it could continue doing so by Sunday. See a few blips of moisture returning. Otherwise, most other areas across western Nevada, Idaho, staying dry and staying warm. 7-day precip totals, not much different from the first 3 days. And the 8 to 14 day, this is September 6th to the 12th, so essentially the second week of September, much above normal temperatures, especially across the western Great Basin, and drier than normal in all areas. So fire season continues for especially the western and northern portions of the Great Basin. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.